Hello, everyone. Welcome to a whole new session. Today, I'm excited to bring to you Matias. He is a music producer who hails from Israel. I'm really excited to have him on today as he discusses his love of music, what got him into it, and how he goes about making these incredible beats for all kinds of artists out there. He also speaks 3 different languages, so this is a really, really cool interview, and I hope everyone enjoys it. So tune in and welcome to IPA Sessions. Welcome to IPA Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. As always, I'm your host, Kay Jacob. Once again, I have an amazing artist on today, someone from the Dom Hollis family over there at Forever Hollins. Thank you, as always, for sending me incredible, talented artists. And I'm super excited to talk to Matias. He is a music producer, a singer, a songwriter, and a pianist. We haven't had a pianist in a while. He has a brand new song out right now called Beautiful Stars. It's streaming on all platforms. Go check it out. And of course, look at the show notes for links to his music. And just check out his social media. So I'm really excited to have on today Matias. Say hi.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Thank you
Fine.
for coming on.
Sure, sure.
And I forgot to mention, you're actually originally from Argentina, but you reside in Israel. So you're a well-traveled man.
I've come a long way.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do, man?
So I'm an independent artist. I do everything. I started by a young age. Actually, I started singing in a choir, and then I found out my thing was piano. And at the age of 17, I kept doing everything, but I also started producing music. And I started producing in GarageBand. It's like an app in iOS, and my friend told me like I had potential and everything, and I should take it more seriously. So that's what I did, and I downloaded FL Studio, started producing tracks, and I had like a friend on my class that he was rapping. So I said like, let's. I kind of take it advantage of him, and he took advantage of me because like I recorded him make tracks and made some experience, and he had his tracks, and we grew up. I kept producing, he kept rapping, and I kept producing for more local artists. And speaking of Dom, I started working with Dom like I think 2 years ago and a year and a half ago, something like that. I wrote to a rapper called Trail Brooks, shout out Trail.
Yeah. Shout out to Trail. We're very familiar with Trail. He's been on the show before.
Yeah, exactly. So I said like I met him on Instagram on some reel, and I said like I wrote to Dom, yo, he's extremely talented. I want to send him some beats, and like Dom was sure, let's do it. And I started working with Dom and all the artists he works with, and I just started producing. Also, shout out Twin Kings. I produced to them too.
Yeah.
Have a
Love the
track.
twins. They're great.
Yeah,
They're a riot.
we have a track together called "It Depends on How You Feel." It's out and available everywhere.
Okay.
Great track. And yeah, I just produce now for myself mostly, and for local artists and artists from the US, and it's doing great.
That's awesome. Nice. So you produce for local artists in your area. Do you want to give a shout out to anyone that we may not know, like any foreign artists over there, someone that we should keep our eye out on?
Sure. So there's a group I like. It's called 149. It's a group of friends of mine that I produced their first EP like a while ago, like 5 years ago. So no, sorry, like three, something like that. Um, and
Okay.
they're great guys, and now they're working with all my friends, like a producer called Leon List, and a lot of people, and it's really cool. Love them.
That's awesome. So tell me, man, this music you got into it because of choir. It sounds like for a lot of people that are in the music industry, especially singers and songwriters, it all comes from choir. Was this just was it just like a you walked in, you started singing, and it just felt like this was it? It had to be.
No, actually the opposite. I started in a choir. I started in a choir, but I always knew singing wasn't like exactly what I want to do, like just singing, you know. So
Yeah,
I started like playing the piano and I fell in love with it. Like I still play. I have a piano right here. My whole studio is in my room, so it's crazy. And
yeah,
and then I found out producing, and I didn't start singing like at the beginning. I just produced beats and tracks because producing is like so much. It's like everything. It contains everything. It's like you can do so much. It's a whole world. Like you can sing, you can produce drums, guitars, everything. Everything you know and can do, you can bring it into your track, and it's crazy. So
yeah.
that's so yeah. I didn't start from singing, but I started just from producing tracks. Actually, yeah, singing just
That's
opened my.
awesome. Speaking of singing, you mentioned that you have, or we mentioned that you have a brand new song out right now called "Beautiful Stars." This is written by you, performed by you, sang by you. It's all 100% you, no AI.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about this. You mentioned that you have basically your own studio set up in your room. You are a truly independent artist, but you've been doing a lot of work, and you're clearly talented. I've heard some of your stuff, and I really like it. I'm looking forward to hearing more. I know we just recently got introduced, but through some of your artists that you've already worked with, they've told me about you, and I was like, okay, this is really cool. So I would like you to just take me through a bit of your process and tell me about Beautiful Stars, what that was like for you, putting it all together, and then just kind of walk us through your studio setup and take your time.
Perfect. So half a year ago, I made this beat that today is called "Beautiful Stars," and it was just a beat. And I started hearing it like I was going on the bus and everything with my AirPods and hearing it all day. And I decided, like, when you're a producer, you can decide that you can take the song in a lot of paths. You can like send a beat to a local artist or whatever, and he can hop on it, or you can do something yourself and have that beat for yourself and produce your own track. So I started thinking like, what can I do with this beat? Because it's very good, and I met this girl, and I had like this feeling of like I had to let out this feeling on a song, and I recorded the song that today is out that is called "Beautiful Stars." So yeah, I just started writing to it, recorded it. It took me about half a year to put it on Spotify and everywhere, and that
Nice.
that was the process of that song. Yeah,
Half a year is pretty good time. That's I know that's a lot of time for some people, but also it can also be a short amount of time, especially when you're putting a whole thing together in its entirety.
yeah,
I've heard different lengths of time from different artists. Twins talked about putting a whole album together and the process that was. Trail talked about doing just one song and that process. So it's really cool to hear that.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there and interrupt you, but please continue.
Cool, cool. So that's the process of "Beautiful Stars." And the process of like a song that doesn't have anything to do with "Beautiful Stars." It's just like how I produce a song, and the track is just I usually just make beats, and then I think if I should write to it, and if I should, I think of like I don't like to stay in one area. I like to go to many genres. So I make rap, R&B, like I, I try to
I
even
like that. Yeah.
yeah, I even made some Afro beats and everything. Um,
Yeah, don't box yourself in.
yeah,
Be outside. I love that. That's
yeah.
great.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just had a quick question too before you get into the breakdown of your studio. What drew you to the genre of hip hop and R&B? Because that seems to be a lot of what you do work with. What
Yeah.
really drew you to that music?
So I think music depends a lot on the environment you're in. My friends, when I was, cause I was 17, like I was in school, and all my friends heard hip hop and rap, and I started listening and liking it too. And I said, like, why not? It should, like, learning a new thing is always fun, and at least for me, right? And
Hey, I feel you.
and I started learning how to do hip hop beats and what is special, because there's a hip hop is a huge, like, genre. You can put inside hip hop, like, trap, um, rap, drill, like whatever. You can put a lot of genres into
It's
that.
very vast. Yeah.
Exactly. So I started learning what makes hip hop, and like what makes everything special, and started producing tracks, and I liked it. That's it.
It's just something you really enjoyed, huh?
Exactly.
Um, so you mentioned that with Beautiful Stars, it was like a process of about half a year. You said, I believe,
Yeah.
getting it written out, performing it, singing it. Now, take us through your studio and basically what your setup is like. Recommend to anyone out there listening that wants to do what you do. They actually want to be a producer. They want to put the beats together. Maybe they even want to put beats together and write their own music and sing. Can you kind of take us through the process of the technical side of creating Beautiful Stars? You know, how you laid it out, what programs you used, any advice for other technicians out there that want to get into this?
All right. So for me, I've been doing this for like about 4 years, 5 years, something like that, and I found out that in the beginning of, not just me, because I've been working with a lot of producers, and the thing is, in the beginning, you think you can, like, there's a you just download a lot of plugins and just don't use it at all. So
Right. The trial and error stage.
yeah, exactly. So at the moment, I don't use a lot of plugins at all. I have like three, and I use FL Studio. I work on FL Studio. So when I first started, I'm very impulsive. Like, I'm a very impulsive guy. So when I just started producing, I bought a microphone, like everything, like my whole studio, most of it I bought in the beginning. Um, and it doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me. So I just use a microphone, uh, earphones, and just whatever I can use to make a track. I produce on FL Studio, and what I do is just, link up with an artist, or if it's myself, so myself. Just hop on a mic, make a beat. I usually make beats with samples. Sometimes I don't, and I search samples on YouTube mostly. Now, by the way, FL Studio, the new one, like the new update, they released a thing where you can find sounds and samples inside FL Studio, and that's cool. I've been using
And
that.
it's, I'm sorry to interrupt, it's FL Studio?
Yeah, exactly. So FL Studio is Fruity Loops. That's the whole name.
Fruity Loops.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
exactly.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please continue on.
Yeah, so I started from FL Studio because I didn't know anything else at that time, but everything is good. Like, the thing is, you gotta be creative yourself, because it doesn't matter what you work with. You just gotta, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a microphone or you have good earphones or good setup or whatever. If you know what you want to, and you upgrade your sound to what you want, it's that's what's gonna make you big. um you don't have to have fancy stuff, you don't have to have FL Studio or Ableton or whatever. You can work with whatever you want, but if you make that, for example, Steve Lacy, right? You know Steve Lacy?
I
so
am personally not that familiar, but please elaborate.
Steve Lacy is a producer and a singer and a songwriter, and he produced. You know Kendrick Lamar. You're familiar with Kendrick?
Yes, my girlfriend would beat me silly if I didn't.
So there's
One
Pride.
of her favorite artists.
Yeah. So he sung Pride. So it was
Mhm.
produced by Steve Lacy, and I heard.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I heard he produced that on his phone on GarageBand, and
Wow.
that's crazy. So
That's
that
wild.
yeah. So that just that's the proof you don't have to have a huge setup. You can just produce a song on your phone, and if you know what you're doing, if you're good enough, if you upgrade your sound to what you want to sound like, then that's the thing you should aim for. um, and
I
that's
mean, technology really has advanced for us. We have everything at our fingertips, and it's literally at our fingertips with our cell phone. So,
yeah,
like, I love that. Be creative. Use what you have. It doesn't have to be, $1 million studio setting. It would be nice to have, the soundproof walls and like those super crisp, clear, but you
yeah,
don't need that. I love that. That's awesome.
exactly.
I'm sorry to interrupt you again.
No, it's fine, it's
Please
fine.
continue.
And for Beautiful Stars, what I did was I took a sample I found. I think I found it on YouTube, and it was special. It was something different because I usually work with samples that are 4 quarters, like 4/4, and that one is 3/4. So it's like it's a different rhythm. It's like 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and it's like it gives like a waltz feeling to it. And I said to myself, how can I make this sample that is already special more special? So I started. I love to keep things sometimes simple because I hear many tracks that have too much into it, and it's too much for real. Like it's like
Like overwhelming or convoluted.
they're just adding a lot of stuff, and it's cool. It's great, but sometimes it's cool to make it simpler because it's easier to catch, like for your ear to catch a simple sound than to catch everything at once.
I was gonna say there is a saying in the art world, less is more. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
it applies to different situations.
exactly. So it applies to this too. So I just made like a kick and snare and a bit of hi-hats and just changed a bit of the sample, and I started singing to it. And I added like a first voice, a second voice, and everything, and it just became a whole thing that a time ago it was just a sample, and it's cool, it's great.
Is Fruity Loops or FL the only program that you use on your personal studio setup for editing with as well?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
that's
and that it
I
has the best layout. It's what you're comfortable with.
me personally, yeah, but Ableton, for example, is very good too. I work with people that use Ableton. I know people that use Pro Tools, and they're very
Yeah,
good too. It just everything has its own. Like Ableton, it's more. I'd say it's more for live performances, and Pro Tools it's more for mixing sound and mastering. And FL is just more simple at like making melodies and everything. But I didn't choose it because of that. I didn't like. I just it was the first thing I saw, so I downloaded it. So that's it.
that's awesome. And I'm going to ask something too, and of course we can edit this. But I was curious because I know with your accent, obviously you have a dual language. I know you speak English. I'm assuming you speak a form of Spanish or Argentinian. Is
Yeah,
that
exactly.
correct?
Yeah.
What languages do you speak? How many?
Okay, so I speak 3 languages. I speak Hebrew, that's the language we speak here in Israel. I
Okay.
speak English and I speak Spanish.
Wow. And
Yes,
Hebrew is pretty tough. That's a really tough language.
it is tough. Yeah.
um, have you sang in Hebrew or have you done any singing in Spanish? Is that something that you incorporate with your music as well? It's not just in English.
So before this podcast started, I started writing a song in Spanish actually. But yeah, in Spanish I don't have anything
Nice.
out yet. In Hebrew I have a lot of songs out,
Hmm.
and that I
Okay,
also
cool.
rapped and sang. And in English I have a few, yeah, and there's more to come.
That's awesome, man. Then definitely, those of you listening, check out Matias's music because you're going to get something that, if you're here in the States, you're probably not used to hearing. It's going to be really awesome. Thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate your technical walkthrough. I really like the idea that you not only create this music, you're giving us a little look into your culture, giving us a look inside your worldview, and through your music, we get to hear that. So I think that's awesome, man. Um, I want to ask you, as an independent artist, it's not easy to put things together. It's not easy to be creative. Things cost money, and a lot of us we have to put our money into things. I was lucky with this podcast. Obviously, besides investing in a microphone and my laptop. I was able to have, my cousin with the room for video has these cool LED lights. I was like, you know what, let's have fun and hook it up. A friend of mine from another show gifted me with this awesome I call it the spit protector. It's a little screen that goes over my microphone, keeps my puffs from popping up everywhere, the little puff popper.
Yeah.
um, so you invest a lot of your own finances into your projects. With you and what you've been doing, you've obviously been doing really well with networking. Like you said, you have friends that you work with over there. You have Dom and his crew over here. Financially, would you say, as a music producer right now, where you are, has this been beneficial for you? Do you feel like the amount of time and resources that you've put into this, they are either paying off finally, or do you feel like they might be eventually paying off, or do you even care at this moment?
Okay. That's a
It's a
good
big
question.
question.
Yeah, yeah. That's um. Okay. So at the moment, I don't think it's paying off, but I'm talking right now about money. Um, I I started this. I started making music with a dream of being big, but not because of the money, just because of love, loving it. Like I love
The
music.
passion, yeah.
Exactly. I've been doing music my whole life. I've been loving it, and I never really looked for money in the business. I did get paid for tracks. I did get paid for recording people. I've made a lot of projects, a lot of things, and but I it didn't like pay off. Like I can't live out of music, just music. But I do it because of love and because I loved everything about it, and I think it's paying off on like mentally and in my heart because like
I like that. Yeah.
it's the best thing uh, like in my life. I'd say like music and creativity and everything is like it's who I am, and just by that I would consider it paying off because it makes me who I am and it makes me whole, and that's why you should do things. Um, in my point of view, like not just music, just like whatever you want, whatever you like, if you love it, even if it doesn't pay off, but it like you love it and it makes you feel good, you should go and do it. That's my opinion on things.
I love that. It's great. I mean, and it sounds like everything that you've invested into yourself is paying off because you invested in yourself, not just financially, but like you said, physically, spiritually, emotionally. The heart is there. You present yourself very professionally. Your music is clean, it's clear, it works really well. Obviously, it's good enough because you have other artists out there, artists who you don't know personally, that have reached out and said, "Hey, I like this. I want to use it." And it's getting out there. You're making this the circuit, or you're doing the circuit. Your music's out there. So yeah, I think that's awesome, dude. You should be very much proud of that. I'd say financially, um, the investment is still ongoing, but it looks like it will pay off soon. And I think that's great. And I
Yeah.
just want people out there to know, like, a lot of this, and I'm sure for those of you who listen regularly, you understand with every artist that comes on, a lot of them have the same thing to say. Like, I have to invest in myself. I have to put that money in. And then over time, through years of progress and work, eventually I start to see dividends and revenue coming back. But it's
Yeah.
slow. So don't jump into this going, I'm just going to jump in this and be a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. It's not always like that. I mean, Twin Kings said it best. Sometimes you get these crazy offers, and they were like, hey, that's not really us or what we want. And you might get wild offers, but will it keep you true to who you are as an artist?
Yeah.
Just like Matias, like, this is what he's happy doing. So thank you, man. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I'm sorry, I said Matias. It's my accent. It wants to say Matias so bad, but Matias, I apologize. But I do appreciate you sharing that with us, man. I really like that you've come on today. I appreciate you taking your time. I know we're very far apart. I'm recording at, like, I think it's 10 in the morning here for me. And I believe it's probably 10
It's
midnight for you.
no, it's 8:46 here.
Oh, good. Okay. It's not super late.
Yeah, it's not really, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we're gonna move on to the fun part now. We've talked about who you are and what you do. We talked about why you do it. We talked about your new song, "Beautiful Stars," out now, streaming on all music platforms. Links are in the show notes. Go check it out.
Yes.
And of course, we have the fun questions segment where I just ask you the ups and downs of everything, because I love to hear different people's responses. We're going to discuss the ups and downs, and I just want your honest opinion. So that way people understand the reality of what they're getting into, especially those who want to do what you do. Hey everyone, just taking a quick break. Matias was kind enough to gift us with his song, "Beautiful Stars." It's out streaming on all music platforms, Spotify, and on YouTube. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. But just for you, right here on IPA, we have "Beautiful Stars" by Matias.
Check me out, I wanna show you how we do this thing to you. So darling, stay with me till the end, on the bed under all of these beautiful stars. Follow me and I'll show you a world where we all can believe in true love. Just trust me and just follow my lead. Follow my lead through the stars. You know that I want you, baby. I wanna stay with you, stay with you. I want this to be true. Show me your love if you got it. 'Cause I don't wanna hurt again. Yeah, you know I've had enough of pain. So just lean to me. You know I'm here for you, but you don't want to see this true. So I'm stuck with feelings, and you're not here to show me you could look for me and hold me one more time. I got it. I'll just back down, but I want you here right now. Want you come to me. We can chill here all night and just have a good time. You know that I want you, baby. I wanna stay with you, stay with you. I want this to be true. Show me your love if you got it. 'Cause I don't wanna hurt again. Yeah, you know I've had enough of pain. Yeah, you know. love if you got it. 'Cause I don't wanna hurt again. Yeah, you know I've had enough of pain. Yeah, you know.
And we're back. That was Beautiful Stars by Matias. Thank you again, Matias, for being kind enough to give us that song to play for everyone. Please stop what you're doing, pause this podcast, go check out Matias on Spotify or whatever streaming platform you listen to, and on YouTube. Follow him, check out his music. And if you're a musician yourself, if you're a singer or a songwriter, reach out to Matias. All the links are in the show notes. And now, back to the session. So my first question is, what's the biggest challenge you had to overcome? And maybe it's something you're still working on.
Okay, so the biggest challenge I think I've had, and it's still to this day my biggest challenge, is mixing everything that is not music. Uh, like sometimes you go to work and you come back home and you want to produce, but you're too tired or you don't mentally there. And that's the biggest challenge because you always, in order to create and in order to want it, you have to be in a specific state because you need to, like, switch that creation on and start, like, being creative and seeing what you want to hear and what you want to make. And when you're mixing work and you're mixing, I don't know, a lot of stuff you're going through your life, it's a bit difficult to switch that creativity on. And I'm still fighting uh, that challenge and trying to overcome it because lately I've been doing music, but less than I should, in my opinion. And now I've come back to it and I started producing new tracks. And I've started seeing that everything affects your creativity and your urge to do music. Um, so I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that, and I feel like a small part of me actually relates to that. I know for me, that ability to switch the to put the switch on, turn the switch on, so to speak. It can be overwhelming at times when, like, obviously we love doing what we do. I had mentioned to you that I like to write and create other projects, not just my podcasts, but just outside in general. But I also have a 9 to 5. I have a job I have to work to pay my bills to support my family and my life. And I feel like, this show, I had to take a hiatus. I had to take a break because I needed to focus on work for a brief minute that was necessary. And I was like, I need to get this job in. I need this income, this source
Yeah,
of stability.
yeah,
And it was a good call. It did feel kind of upsetting that I had to take off like 2 months from doing a podcast and getting to talk to other artists because it was something that I needed to get done. But now that I'm back, I'm glad I did it because it was kind of refreshing. It was something I needed to do, and it was refreshing. So now I'm back and I'm ready to go, and I'm good to go.
yeah,
And so the switch is back on.
yeah,
I know that's not exactly what you are talking about, but I feel like a small part of me relates to that understanding of, like, I had
yeah,
to put my creative switch off just for a moment because I needed to financially stabilize myself and take a really good job that just unfortunately I was not able to work on my creative stuff. But I knew it was only for so long and I would be coming back.
yeah,
So I think sometimes you got to take that chance of, like, think things out, be logical, be real, and understand, like, this is what you do creatively. This is what you have fun. So my situation was I needed to do something that needed to be done. Other people might hit a creative block where they're like, I can't seem to, I have this roadblock. I can't get past it. Like, I can't seem to be creative right now. That's a good time to just turn the switch off, take some downtime, rest,
yeah,
relax, and not think about it. Like, step away momentarily,
But
because like you said earlier, if you're passionate and you're driven, it'll come back to you, and
yeah,
that switch comes back on, and you're good to go.
yeah. And by the way, like sometimes even if you have that switch on, it's it's good sometimes to take a break because sometimes you do something so much that you you can't see the whole picture and you just look at
Yeah,
what done again and again and again. And it's good to like take a break and look at everything from a different perspective because
yeah,
then like you can you know, you can see everything better and clearer, and that's a good thing actually. So it doesn't always have to be like you know, because you have to you know, pay your bills and everything too. Um,
right. And
and
and I think people forget being creative is still a strain on your mentality.
yeah,
It's still a strain. Even though you love doing it, you're still straining your mental health.
yeah,
So take that break, relax, enjoy it. Be present in your moment, but also, take a little breather and appreciate what you've done and know that like you'll get to it.
yeah, exactly.
Um no, I think that's really cool. Thank you. So, Matias, you've been doing this for a while now. I think you said about 5 years total. You've been doing this,
Yes,
right? And really going at the last 3 years, correct?
yeah.
So you have a good understanding from what you've been doing so far of what to expect. You kind of are starting to learn what to anticipate and what to understand. But along this journey of yours as a music producer, what is something unexpected that you've had to face? And it may be something that you learned in the moment. Like you had this concept of like what to anticipate and what would happen, but this completely caught you off guard. So what's something unexpected that you've had to deal with?
So there was, well, there were so many in the beginning when I started. I shouted out 149, that group I talked about. So when I first recorded
Yeah.
the EP, I was still kind of new to producing and everything, and there was a lot of things I didn't know, and I had to learn. For example, mixing. I wasn't very good at mixing, and I had to learn how to mix a track that so it sounds professionally or closer to professionally because I wasn't there with my level. And there was like a lot of sessions where I had like technical problems and I had to learn and look at YouTube and like be like how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I
Right.
fix that.
YouTube, everyone's teacher.
Exactly, no, really, it's great. um, and yeah, I had a lot of learning. I think I've learned more from experience than from just you know, producing myself and everything. um, and I think that's what teaches you the most. And that's, yeah, that's it.
No, I get that. I respect that. You're right. It's a big learning curve in the beginning. So I think a lot of unexpected things happen in the early stages of you starting out your creative career when
Yeah,
you're like, hey, I want to do this. But how do I go about it? That's the whole point of this show. This show is to be there for folks like you that are like, hey, I want to produce music. I want to know how to go about doing it, but I have no idea how to do this or where to start. Well, you're sharing with us your personal experience, what you went through. They don't have to copy and paste what you've done, but they can listen and understand like these are things to anticipate, these are things to understand. These are going to be the unexpected things you may not even be thinking about,
yeah,
that sometimes just catch you off guard. So yeah, in the beginning, you're going to run into a lot of that, and you learn from it. So,
yeah, yeah. That,
so yeah, you do learn a lot in the moment in the beginning stages for sure.
not just in the beginning. I still till this day, like I think in even in Beautiful Stars, I don't think I created many tracks in three 3/4 in the rhythm. Um, so I had to
Oh
learn
wow.
how to, you know, put that rhythm right so it sounds cool. Um, but that's things that it's more like, you know, it's not now searching on YouTube how to do this, how to do that. It's like more finding out yourself how what should sound right and what shouldn't and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah,
Building your own confidence and understanding.
yeah, exactly. And when when you keep going and like, let's say in a few years I move to USA, just for an example, yeah, and I start working there with artists, I will still have those technical problems that I don't know how to do this, how to do that, and it's gonna be a lot of new stuff always. Like it's, you always learn something new. Like it's a bit cheesy, but yeah, that's what I think.
Matias, sometimes in life there is just the hard reality of like this is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing can be changed. It's a fact of life. This is not opinion. It's a fact. There's no way around it. You just have to work with it. What has been a hard reality that you've had to deal with and accept as a music producer? You know, something that might even be a little discouraging, but you learned how to push through it and work around it. It's a reality check. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, um, it's a good question. Let me think.
Take your
Uh,
time.
so my hard reality is that I always try to make music for everyone. Like if you like rap, you can like my music. If you like R&B, you may like my music. And like I really try to vary with all my music. And one of the things I've learned is that even if you want everyone to like your sound and everyone to like your shit, like sorry, and everyone to like your
Don't
stuff.
censor yourself. You're fine. It's fine. I cuss all the time.
Oh, okay. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not gonna be like that. Like there's still gonna be people who's gonna tell you, you're not good enough. This is not good. This is not what you should aim for. And I've learned that you need to just, like, if you like what you do, uh, so there's gonna be someone who likes it too. Like, uh, you can't be the only one in the world that likes your stuff. So even if
Right.
like there's gonna be someone like you. So even if like a hundred people tells you you're not it, you're not gonna be it, and stuff like that, but you create something you really like and really appreciate, there's gonna be someone in the world uh, that is gonna appreciate and like that too. Like
Right.
that's the thing I've learned. Um, and
That's
yeah,
a really good hard reality. Yeah, haters, the naysayers, the negative Nancy's out there that are like, "Oh, whatever, it's a bunch of BS. You can't do this." It's like, "All right, well, I'll prove you wrong." And yeah, like you said, you might have a bunch of people just ripping into your music and talking all, but here's the thing. What are they doing? What are they creating? What are they putting out there? And at the same time, you do have at least one person that's like, "Hey, this is golden. Go for it." That's all that matters. Who cares about the 100 naysayers? Because all you need is one person to have your back, and that's going to elevate you to so many levels of success and so many levels of growing that one person into hundreds and thousands of fans.
yeah,
So
exactly,
absolutely, I love that. A hard reality is establishing that fan base.
exactly, yeah.
I like that, man. That's really cool. All right, this will be a fun question for you. This is just something I really like to hear from the artists, and that is, what has been your most valuable takeaway as a music producer with Beautiful Stars, the new music you created, the new song, I mean, with the other bands that you've worked with, the other musicians you've worked with. What has been the most valuable takeaway that you've learned from your experience, something that has helped you grow and improve as an artist?
First of all, with every person I've worked with, and even myself, I took something that, as you say, valuable takeaway. Because, for example, when I started recording, I've learned how to deal with my, with FL Studio and all my technical problems and all my equipment and everything. Um, but when I've done, like when I finished learning all that technical stuff, I've started gaining um, like creativity from every artist I've worked with, and like a different point of view. Because you can create
Yeah.
something, and then someone you work with can say, "Oh, I want this way, and let's switch it up." And there's things you've never thought about. And after you start working with those persons, and you start gaining that different perspective of the sound you're creating and of everything, really. And I think that's something I've gained, like a different perspective and a bit of eye-opening of creativity. So
Yeah, that's great takeaway. Yeah, it sounds to me like the people that you've worked with, the people that you've been creative with, you've gained from them not only personal experience for yourself, but you've gained their knowledge. You listened to them. You
yeah,
took away from them what they had to offer you,
yeah,
and it helped you grow and improve. It really did make you grow as an artist. I think that's awesome because you're willing to listen. You're willing to hear criticism and understand that they're not being a naysayer. They're not talking negative. They're letting you know, hey, this is a little weak. This is how you can strengthen it. Make yourself
yeah,
better. And you actually took that advice and ran with it. That's awesome to have that knowledge and to grow from other people. That's a great way to grow as an artist, is to listen to others that you're working with, others that get what you're doing and have done the same themselves. They're not just, trying to say stuff without actually having the knowledge behind it.
yeah, of course.
That's a great takeaway to have. I think that's awesome. Learning from others and growing from that. Hell yeah. We talked about the unexpected earlier, and now I want to know, what is something that you did expect from this project? What did you want from Beautiful Stars, your new song that came out? What do you want as a music producer?
So with Beautiful Stars, because I told you like the song was created by a feeling like of love or some romantical feeling, and I wanted that song not only to touch the person I wrote it to, just to I think it's uh it's a song that a lot of people can relate to it, because I wanted to touch like their hearts with that song. I wanted to create something special that people can hear and say, wow, that's like makes me feel a certain way. And I think with the feedback I got from all the people who heard that song, I think I got it right. And that's something I try to create with a lot of songs. There's always, though, sometimes I create a bit for fun and, just for the hell of it. So I usually want to create music that touches people's heart. And that's the way I aim with my songs and everything I've done till now.
I like that. You want people to really love, but not just love your music, feel it. You want
Yeah,
them to feel what you're putting out there.
yeah,
That's wild. That's a tough emotion too, to grasp that with music. And if you can really touch and pull at their heartstrings, that's a good way to hook them. That's how you grow your fan base. You get
right.
them involved, emotionally involved. They're invested now. I think that's great, man. That's a good desire to want. I
Thank you.
like that. So, with everything that you do, all this work that you've put in, all the creativity you have, the new music, working with other artists, and growing yourself and improving as a producer, what's your drive? What motivates you to do what you do?
Okay, that's a good question. I think it's my love for music, but more than that, I think it's the love I have that I want to share with other people. Um, it's like you know that feeling when you love something and you're really passionate about it and you want to tell everyone about it and like get them invested.
Yeah,
So that's the feeling.
excitement.
Yeah, that's the feeling behind it, because you want to create something that you can say, wow, it's crazy, but you want other people to feel that way too. You want to show them what you can create. You want to show them what you can bring to the world, what you can bring with music. And I always, like I said, I loved music my whole life. I've been doing music my whole life, and it's something I'm passionate about and something I love. And I love making music as I love to share the music I make with others. And that's the thing that drives me. Like I always want to make a new track so people can hear what I make, what I'm feeling. Because I think there's a quote where it says um, you can speak through music, and that's true. Like you can make people feel through music, sadness, happiness, excitement, whatever you want. And
Right.
it's a matter of how you make your tracks. It's a matter of how what feelings you put behind it, and what feelings you're trying to make people feel. And that's what drives me in. The love of music, the passion I've got for it, and the uh, me wanting to share that passion and love to other people.
Yeah. Passion. La passion. That's a hell of a motivator.
Yeah,
I like it. That's a good drive to have. Just being passionate, pure, emotional, and driven. I love it, man. That's awesome.
thank you.
Um, I really appreciate you taking the time today to sit down with me and talk to me about your new music and what you do. I appreciate you sharing with others out there. Thank you for answering a lot of these questions. I know they can be a bit because you have to think about bad times, but I also like to have you think about the good times too. You know, you have your ups and downs. I mean, that's the reality of what we do. It's
Yeah,
not all, sugar and rainbows and, happy endings. There are the hard parts. There is the struggle. There's the hard reality check that people need to face. And I appreciate you sharing with us those reality checks.
thank you. I
I
appreciate
would
you.
love to ask you now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me in the show.
No problem, man. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I want to end this now. I want to wrap it up with asking you, is there any advice or anything that you would like to say to anyone out there looking to do what you do? Someone that wants to step up and be a music producer, a singer, or a songwriter, what advice can you give them?
The advice I will give is just it's a cheesy advice, but it's true. It's like keep going because um, it's like you're always gonna have those states where you don't want to, like, you feel when you're not advancing enough or not gonna get anywhere. But music, it's like it's something that takes time. It's not something that when you are, let's say you're programming or whatever, and you get a job. So it's something you can see instantly. You're growing up instantly. You're learning new stuff and everything. And music, it takes time because you have to build an audience. You have to build your sound. You have to build everything, and it's not easy. And it's stressful sometimes. And you're gonna hear a lot of no's, a lot of yes, a lot of I don't know, and whatever. But the important stuff is to keep going, and that's the key, I think. um, and right now, as I said, I'm not like a huge producer worldwide and everything, but uh, I see myself the I see that if I keep going and I keep, there's no chance that if you keep putting music all the time out, you're not gonna grow. Like it's not gonna happen. You're gonna even five people. That's like a lot. Five new people.
It is.
It is. So my advice is just to keep going. Uh, of course, if you really like it. If you don't, so it's your choice. But if you want to, and that's your dream, just keep going and keep on it.
I love that, man. Keep going. A lot of people in here, they usually say just do it, but I like that you're like, no, 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 you're already doing it. So keep going,
Yeah.
keep pushing yourself. I
Yeah.
love that. That's great advice to give. Keep going. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to take that advice and keep going. Again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on today. Please, man, promote yourself, put yourself out there. How can people reach out to you if they want to say hello, if they want to follow you, follow your music? Give us a shout out to your social media links. I know you're on Spotify, but any other music platforms that you're on, please put it all out there right now. Of
Sure.
course, Beautiful Stars, it's out now. It's streaming on Spotify and all music platforms. Check out the show notes for links to all these places. But for now, please, man, put yourself out there. And again, Matias, thank you very much.
So my Instagram is Matias underscore Brenman, Brenman. My Spotify is the same thing, just without the underscore. I'm available on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. I like uploaded everywhere. You can find me everywhere, even in YouTube, whatever you like. Um, and you should check me out. I have like a lot of genres I make, a lot of instrumental beats, even whatever. And yeah,
Okay. Heck yeah. I know where I'm going because I know that we just recently got introduced and I've heard of some of your music here, but I'm excited to check out your Hebrew hip hop. I'm all about that. I'm going to go listen to that. Thank you for sharing that. That was cool, man. I
sure,
think
sure.
that's dope. um, for those of you listening out there, I hope that you had a fun time listening to what Matias had to offer, sharing his story with us. Just know that you're out there, no matter where you are. You don't have to just be here in the States. If you're across the seas living in these European countries and you're wanting to produce music, you don't need to live in Hollywood to do that. You can take the equipment that you have around you, pull out your phone. If you have a phone, pull it out. Start checking out GarageBand, whatever instruments and tools that you have at your fingertips, use them. We live in a great age of technology and we have access to it now. Take advantage of that. Don't
Yeah,
stop yourself from pursuing something you want to do. Listen to what Matias had to say, what he had to offer. Check out the programs he advised us on, the stuff that he uses, his techniques. Talk to other people, work with other people. You don't have to do this alone. And that's really what I took away from Matias today. And again, Matias, thank you so much for being here.
of course.
And to the listeners out, yeah, right. I appreciate it. And to the listeners out there, I really hope you had a great time and took away a lot of information from him. And until the next time, everyone, stay golden.
See you.
Thanks for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, please rate and review, like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. And as always, the theme music of the show is provided by the Ericka page. And our brand new graphic designs are all thanks to Quality Artworks. Links are in the show notes. Go support these amazing indie artists just like they support IPA Sessions. And of course, please follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That's at IPA Sessions Podcast. And if you or someone you know is an independent artist looking to promote their work or just share their story with us, please hit me up at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again, everyone. And I hope you're able to find some inspirations for practical applications and entertainment.